morning, so we'll see how we go.
Mile for here and called Flotta. So then between Flotta and the hills in the background is where Skara Brae lies, and you'll get a lovely view of that just in a wee while. And it's into Flotta that North Sea oil flows, and of course we always maintain up here that that's all Scottish oil. Nice to see you're all agreeing with me. Anybody disagreeing on the short pier is just over here. So all of those I've quickly named to you there, they're all part of Orkney Groats. But I get tongue-tied if I say that too often, liable to spray the nearest ladies in front of me here as well. So we just call him Jandy Groat, and he came up here around the year 1500. He then ran the first ever ferry to Stroma and Orkney. For the ferry charged fourpence. A fourpenny piece was known as a groat. Now it's about the size of a wee 5p piece. However, you do not get to Orkney for fourpence nowadays. I'm sure you've realised it's 5p plus. Jandy Groat, he had 7 sons, and each year this family had a sort of annual gathering to celebrate their arrival here. But this particular year there was trouble brewing up about who was going to sit at the head of a table. So next year, when they all came back, old Jandy Groat had solved the problem, as he had built an octagonal table. Now that's an 8-sided table, so that each one could then sit at the head of a table, including himself. He had also built an 8-sided house with 8 doors, so each then could go in at their own door. But there was never any mention of his wife, so I just presumed she must have been in the kitchen somewhere. I thought I'd get a better reaction than that one, ladies, this morning.
Too early, too early.
But still in keeping with Jandy Groat's legend is the first and last in Scotland, down over the top where you see the single flag flying. You maybe notice the buildings are of an 8-sided design, still in keeping then with the legend. So over there we have a few postcards and souvenirs, all kinds of gifts and crafts, a few tea towels that have John or Groat's story on them. And of course these tea towels are meant for all these gentlemen doing the dishes with when they're back home.
East of Orkney, and it's piped into one of the islands in Scotland. Here it employs quite a number of people, and it's quite beneficial of people in here over the summer months. It's a summer, I think it's 145 cruise liner visits altogether. In fact, the island of the Orkney is simply called the mainland, Orkney mainland. And Skara Brae was the main base of British Home Fleet during both world ships. You will see the remains of some well-built solid barriers, and they did build them. It's not really the case, not nowadays. Our winds, maybe a bit more sometimes. Hundreds of hen houses broken up, blown away and so on. St Margaret's Hope golf course, get down this side of the trees, cross the bottom, and comes up the other side.
St Margaret's Hope.
nowadays. The sand is starting up on the right hand side as we cross. Because the farmers inherited this extra bit of land here.
Like a right over must be with Churchill.
There's still 7 German ships under there yet. That's including Skara Brae battleships, and then a big attraction to divers in the summer months. Now, see me. See the Churchill Barriers and small islands.
Take a picture of that.
No, it's along the coastline ahead of us. And he came in past the front of that small village over there on the surface, because it's not very deep. The war, so that one's been here for quite a while. They're complete ships, sailed in here and sunk before they were clear. And between the 4 entrances, the barriers built in the wartime, and but of course in the war with the chapel in front of the altar, that was just made out of old scrap iron they got for the block ships. And he could have left the Orkney here at the end of the war, I think it was 2 weeks, nearly 3 weeks before he did, because he was so proud of his work. He have a look for the heart and see if you can find it. That's the Italian flag flying straight ahead of us there. That's the chapel coming.
She also have this 3D effect, the trompe-l'oeil effect on me. Yeah.
Basically, very fancy. Quonset.
That's what I
was the same.
Last year's calves. We might see some adult ones a wee bit further on.
Coos. Coos. That's just over here. Yeah.
And approaches Atlantic Ocean, in the west of Orkney, Atlantic East. And it's getting warmer. When we started off this morning, the temperature was a little town in the 1800s, during the time of the whaling and the heavy. In fact, it's been said that at one time over 75% of the workforce of the
It's burning.
Go in and take a seat. It's waitress service. They'll come and take an order, menus on the table and that. Also get, they do open sandwiches with different fillings and so on. To give yourself a treat after your meal, there's a small ice cream bar. Old and Stonehenge and all that. But we'll stop at the ring of Brodgar. And up ahead of us here is ring of Brodgar. That's it. I can get parked there, but I can't stay there. Not now when it's busy. We'll line our coaches and things, so there's a car in there, but I think and you can just follow on more or less right away, and she'll have tickets to hand out to you at the door. You have to show a ticket to get into Scale House. Maybe they're growing big now, the signals.
One way in, one way out.
Yeah, well,
That's it.
That's the entrance, I think.
Yeah, obviously they've not survived.
It was covered in sand for a long time until a storm came and blew it over.
Just live with the smoke.
Well, did you go?
And that must be him.
Exited through the shop, and then you'll come out of the door.
Is that the Queen?
Because I think nearly all the farms here nowadays are owner-occupied. Farmer owns his farm. The present estate is a man called Major Malcolm McCrae, and that's where he stays up in that big house above the trees. For a while, opened up a pub and called the pub HMS Sparrowhawk.
Somebody didn't like him. You can ask him. Do you want me to? Yeah. Well, I'm glad they kept it at least. store it, they have to leave it. On the 13th.
Now, somewhere between 12 and 15 feet, something like that. And there's 2 hours of difference between the tides here on one side of the barrier, and nearly 2 hours.
Available. If the emergency signal is sounded, dress warm, put on a life jacket, remain calm, and follow the instructions.